Hey everyone, Random Randy here. It is Vlogust for August 28th, 2017. It has been a day. It's been a 50-50 day in that half of it was pretty awesome and amazing, and the other half kind of makes me wish that I had an entire bottle of vodka to drink and a pint of ice cream to devour. So, the boys and I went to a playground that's a little ways away from our house. It's not too terribly far. It's in the next town over off Post. I was hoping to maybe get to expose the kids to some different kids from the few that live around this block that have decided for whatever reason that they're just gonna always be total jerks to my kids no matter what, which is really beyond annoying and kind of does more than poke the mama bear with a stick. It kind of makes me consider violence towards 7 and 8-year-olds that think that they run this. So, had a good time at the playground. Killian napped for about 10 minutes in the car on the way there because we got to the playground and he had just closed his eyes. So I told Hunter, we're gonna have to wait a few minutes, buddy. Mommy's just gonna drive in circles. I promise we're gonna go to the playground, but Killian really needs to rest so that he won't be a total monster. And I want him to get to enjoy the playground, which he will not get to do if he is so exhausted that he's, screaming and crying and being a 2-year-old. And then we came home, hung out for a little bit, had dinner. The kids and I watched the movie Sing. It was interesting. I'm not really into kid movies. It's not really my thing anymore. It was nice to hear that they mixed in some older music with all of the newer stuff, so I will give it that. And Hunter is very much a music kid, so he was super excited about it. And Killian proceeded to dance and jump around to the extent that he got himself so worked up that if you know anything about little kids, sometimes when they get overstimulated, they do soothing movement behaviors that to us seem very odd and like they would have the opposite effect, but to the child, it actually helps regulate them and helps calm them down. Unfortunately, Killian's regulatory behavior is whacking his head on things, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, is very stressful, very anxiety-inducing, freaks me the hell out. Like, oh my lord, how are these hairs not all gray? So he proceeded to climb on the couch, and before I could catch him, he jumped off of the couch, landed on his knees and was fine, then got up and jumped up and down a few times, and purposely went completely with his arms and his legs out and forehead right onto the floor. I was like, why? I understand the reasoning, but oh my god, why do you do that? Why? It is not my favorite thing at all. So he's gonna have another bruise on his forehead. There is a very good reason why every time my husband talks about getting Killian a haircut, I say no, we're not going to cut his hair. At least not his bangs up past his eyebrows, because he has multiple varying degrees of shades of bruising on his forehead, and I don't want somebody trying to call CPS on me saying I'm abusing my kids because they're dopey and jump around and hit themselves on things all the time. That is not within my control unless I put them in a straitjacket and medicate them. And no. So right now it is fairly late. It's about 9:15 at night. I know you can't tell, but I actually have 3 lights on me right now. I have my daylight lamp, I have my OttLight color correcting whatever light that lets you allegedly see things super, super well. I got it at Joann's, what seems like a million years ago, during one of their 50% off all lighting sales, and the overhead light's on. So yeah, super, super bright in here. Because at first I just had the overhead light and it looked like I was filming from inside a cave. Then I turned just that light on and it was like, oh, this looks terribly dramatic. So I turned this one on and much better. Now everything looks mostly clear. So I'm just not having it today. Only day 2 of my husband being gone and I'm like, oh my god, when are you coming home? So because my blanket is progressing so quickly, I just wanted to do something to take a break from it. So I'm starting another puff stitch hat, like the green one that I did before, but I'm doing this one with Red Heart Super Saver pink camo. I'm doing it with an eye hook, and right now I'm just starting the brim band, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm trying to decompress and wind down. I just wanted to get this filmed. I don't really have a lot else to say other than tomorrow's going to be another day of chores. And I'm super excited about some of the events that occurred in Game of Thrones last night. One in particular. Well, 2 really, but one of them I totally saw coming. The other one, I totally wasn't expecting it. It took me by surprise, and that was really pretty awesome. I approve. Good job, George Martin. You do great things. I am so effing tired. Oh, and I got to sleep in until 7 o'clock this morning because the kids weren't up yet. And I hadn't set an alarm because usually the kids wake me up around 6, so why would I bother setting an alarm? And people always say silly things to me like, oh, you should, get up before your kids do so that you can have time to do things, by yourself, get a little time to breathe. And it's like, that's a nice theory. But there are some days when my kids get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't matter how tired they are when they go to sleep. It doesn't matter how late or how early they go to bed. It doesn't matter if they ate a full dinner, if they ate no dinner. They can wake up at 5 o'clock one morning and I can do everything in my power to wear them down and tire them out, and they could still get up at 5 the next morning, or they could sleep in until 7:30. I have no idea. I don't know. All I can say is when they're teenagers, there will be a reckoning. When it's Saturday and they think they're gonna sleep in until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, no. Mama, don't play that. That will be payback time. And I say that now, but I'm pretty sure my parents probably said the same thing about me, and I distinctly recall sleeping in until 1 o'clock in the afternoon on weekends because I'd be up until 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm just a more nocturnal person. And that's one of the big reasons why I really want to be able to homeschool the kids, because I want them to be able to function at their best during the times when their body is pre-programmed to function the best. Because let's be honest, you can say, oh, the early bird gets the worm, yada yada yada, but the last mouse gets the cheese. And I feel that trying to force your body to function counter to its natural circadian programming is a big part of the reason why my throat is just killing me right now. I don't know what's going on. Big part of the reason why so many people are exhausted, have depression, have lethargy of all different varieties. Because guess what? If your natural circadian rhythm is to sleep until, we'll say, 10 in the morning and be awake until 2, that gives you an 8-hour window to sleep within the time frame people think everybody should have to sleep for that amount to get a full night's rest. However, if you are more nocturnal by nature and you have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter if you sleep for 10 hours the night before. When you have to be up at 5, you are going to be dying. And yes, I would know, because I am one of those more nocturnal people. If I could get to a point where my kids were sleeping until, say, 8, so I could get up at about 6:37, because after having children that are such ungodly early risers for so long, I am slightly more of a morning person, more of a mid-morning person than I used to be. But I worked evenings and nights for a really, really long time. So this whole up at 4:45 thing that seems to strike the kids every 6 months or so is totally for the birds, and I don't want it. I just don't, because people will say, oh, but since you're up early, you can do so many more things with your day. Yeah, but if you're so exhausted that you have a migraine from the second your eyes open and you can't see straight, no, you don't. You don't get anything done. You sit around for hours looking at the clock, getting agitated because you just don't have any get up and go. I know, because that was me the other day when I was up at 4 o'clock in the effing morning to take my husband down and drop him off. And then, on top of that, I was awake until, when did I go to bed last night? I think I turned off the TV at 12:30 because I realized I had been scrolling through Netflix for an hour after the end of Game of Thrones and hadn't actually watched anything. So yeah, there's that. It seems like I spend more time on Netflix adding things to my queue than actually watching things. Does anybody else have that problem, or am I just a weirdo? So, before I ramble any further, and so I have time to edit this and add the things to it that I need to, I'm going to cut this here. And look, I got some more progress on my brim just sitting here chitty-chatting and crocheting. So I'm going to edit this right quick and get it uploading. And it's about 9:30 now, so I'm probably going to go watch an episode or two of something on Netflix. Maybe I'll watch a horror movie. God, I haven't watched a good gory bloodfest in such a long time. For whatever reason now, since having kids, my husband doesn't really like to watch horror movies anymore. And I can understand not wanting to watch something where it's, obviously there's child torture or somebody suffering in it, but he's not about it anymore, which is a total bummer, because I'm like, yeah, you get that dumb broad that ran up the stairs in her underwear after running through the sprinkler in the lawn in her underwear. Why did she run upstairs? Clearly she deserves to die. Just saying. Anyway, I'm gonna go take care of this and watch some Netflix and work on this hat. So I will catch all of you guys tomorrow. And I think there's only 1 or 2 more Vlogusts after that, and then it's all done. Then it'll be back to the normal, maybe 2-3 videos a week. Good stuff, right? So I hope you guys all had as good of a Monday as you could, because we all know Mondays are the worst. So yeah, I will catch all of you guys tomorrow, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.